Welcome to The Explainer. Ever feel like economists are speaking a completely different language? Well, today, we're going to learn it. We're going to break down the basic words and ideas that connect your morning coffee to the entire global market. Trust me, you'll start seeing the world in a whole new way.
Think about it for a second. It all starts with a simple thought, right? Man, I could really use a new pair of headphones. But that one little desire, it actually kicks off this massive, invisible chain reaction that spans the entire globe. So let's follow that spark and see how it fuels the whole system. And this is exactly where we start. Before you get to any of the complicated charts or big, scary theories, the entire field of economics, all of it, is built on this one simple, totally universal human thing: wanting something. Now, here's where economists get a little specific. A desire is just, wishful thinking. But what they call a want is an effective desire. That means you're not just daydreaming about those headphones. It means you've got the ability and the willingness to actually put in the work, to earn the money and save up, to go out and get them. Of course, not all wants are created equal, right? Wanting a glass of water is a bit different from wanting a sports car. So economists put them into three main buckets. You've got your necessities, the stuff you absolutely need to survive, like food and shelter. Then there are comforts, things that just make life a bit nicer. And then you have luxuries. And yeah, those top-of-the-line headphones would fit right in there. So why do we want all this stuff? The big economic word for it is utility. And here's the thing. Utility isn't about how useful something is in a practical sense. It's simply about its power to satisfy a want. Just scratch an itch. So a superhero comic and a bag of groceries both have utility, because for different people, they both satisfy a specific want. Okay, so we've got these wants, and we're searching for things with utility to satisfy them. Now let's talk about the actual stuff that provides that utility. In economics, it all boils down to two things: goods and services. So everything you could ever buy falls into one of these two camps. Goods are the physical, tangible things you can hold in your hand: a book, a coffee mug, a car. Services are intangible experiences. Think about a haircut, your cell phone plan, or advice from a lawyer. The big difference? You can't put a haircut in a closet for later, and you can't sell it to someone else once you've gotten it. And we can get even more specific. There are consumer goods. Those are the things that we, the consumers, use directly. A pizza, for example. Then there are capital goods. These are the things used to make other things. So the giant oven that baked your pizza, that's a capital good. It helps satisfy your want for pizza, but indirectly. Now, this next distinction is super important for understanding the big picture. A final good is the finished product, like the t-shirt you buy in a store. An intermediate good is one of the ingredients that went into it, like the cotton used to make the thread. And here's why that matters. To measure a country's entire economy, its GDP, economists only count the value of the final goods. Otherwise, they'd be counting the same value over and over again. So we've got all this stuff, but what's it actually worth? This brings us to two words that we use interchangeably all the time, but for an economist, they mean very different things: value and price. So what's the difference? Well, value is a relative thing. It's about what something is worth compared to something else. For instance, you could say one pen has the value of two pencils. Price just takes that idea and puts it into terms we all understand: money. The price of that pen is, say, $1. It's just the money version of value. And this really nails it. The price is just the number on the sticker. That's it. But the value is what you actually get out of it. It's the satisfaction, the utility it gives you personally. It's why you can pay a really low price for something you end up using every day, huge value, or a really high price for something that just collects dust. Okay, we understand the stuff, and we know how to think about what it's worth. But where on earth does it all come from? Well, every single good or service you can think of is made from a kind of recipe. And economists say this recipe always has 4 essential ingredients. They call them the factors of production. First, you need land, and that doesn't just mean a field, it means all natural resources. Second is labor, the human effort, both brains and brawn. Third, you need capital. That's the man-made stuff, like tools, machines, and factories. And finally, the special sauce, entrepreneurship. That's the person with the big idea who takes a risk to mix all the other factors together to create something. This brings up a really cool little puzzle about capital. Wealth is basically all the valuable stuff you own, but something only becomes capital when you use it to create more wealth. Think of it this way. Your house is wealth, But the second you decide to rent out a room, that room becomes capital because now it's actively generating an income for you. All right, let's pull the camera back. We've got wants, we've got goods, we know their value, and we know how they're made. So let's zoom all the way out and look at the giant arena where all this action actually takes place. When you hear the word market, don't just picture a fruit stand. These days, a market is simply any system that connects buyers and sellers. It could be your local farmer's market, sure, but it's also Amazon, the stock market, or even just selling an old couch on an app. As long as buyers and sellers can find each other and make a deal, it's a market. And when you take all of the production and all of the markets and all of our wants and you smush them all together inside a region, like a city or a country, what you get is the economy. It's the whole shebang. It's the giant, messy, amazing system we've created to earn a living and try to satisfy all our wants. So we started with just a simple desire for headphones and ended up with the entire global system that brings them to you. You now have the basic building blocks, the language, to see the hidden economic story happening in everything around you. Thanks for joining this explainer. Now get out there and see what you notice.